Have you ever stopped to take a look at all that's going on in the world and thought to yourself, what the hell is going on here? Bringing it a little closer to home, what is going on in my immediate environment? And bringing it all the way home, what is going on inside of me? And above all else, what can I do about it? My name is Love, and it's my passion to help people to discover the power of what already rests inside of them. And guess what? Because you have an endocannabinoid system, you can use cannabis to assist you in obtaining the answers to these questions. And while there's information out there regarding this topic, I chose to bring a little more attention to it because it's one that I don't personally see or hear a lot about. But I feel that it is such a vitally important topic. Now, when I came into the cannabis space a couple of years ago, I'd never heard of the word entheogen. Cannabis has been classified as an entheogen. The word itself sounded intriguing to me, so I decided to look it up. And here you see just a few of the definitions that I came up with. Becoming divine within, that which causes God to be within an individual. A chemical substance, typically of plant origin, that is ingested to produce a non-ordinary state of consciousness for religious or spiritual purposes. So I know you all are well educated and know how to read, but I just thought hearing those definitions as something that's being described for cannabis. So with this, my mind was blown. And to learn that cannabis has such qualities after having been taught the exact opposite about it was quite an eye-opener to me, to say the least. I never even fathomed the idea that cannabis could be used for any of these purposes. So this allowed me to see this amazing plant in an entirely different light. And I'm very interested in your thoughts about these definitions. What are your thoughts and feelings around that? So if you would, please share your thoughts with me there in the chat so I can go back and read those later after my presentation. So this slide is just to give you a little backdrop on some of the cannabis history. It by no means is an all-inclusive list of religions and cultures that found tremendous value in this plant. You see, cannabis has been around, been used in religious and spiritual circumstances and ceremonies throughout the world for ages. It's also been reported that cannabis was used in the balms that Jesus used in his healings. It was used in several rituals dating back in China 2,500 years. Its use in India dates back to prehistoric times. It's been used across many different cultures and religions, and who knows exactly how far back it goes for its use. The point is that before its demonization, cannabis was held as a very sacred plant. And I just really want to drive home the point that this knowledge speaks to how well the plant has been historically and universally respected. It's not specific to any one region, any one sect, any religion, any culture. It's universal. So why does this matter? I really don't think it's a secret at all that nurses are suffering in epic proportions. The situation was critical long before COVID came along the scene, and we were just not listened to. And of course, once COVID came on, that took things to a whole other level. Nurses are experiencing PTSD, compassion fatigue, trauma, and more. So there's a need for a lot of healing and wellness to occur. There's a need for an increase in strength, resiliency, and especially when it seems like everything around us is crashing down. So, how are you dealing with this on a day-to-day basis? How do you deal with work on a day-to-day basis? Would you be interested in creating a life that's in alignment with the needs of your soul? A desire to expand your mind, perhaps? Well, cannabis use with the practices that you see here can be used to support the human spirit, contribute to our healing, and alleviate our suffering. How do we do this? We start by being mindful of how and why we're using the plant. Many of us have already heard about the importance of set and setting, being mindful of that. And here, we definitely want to set a specific intention before using. Dosing with cannabis before any of these practices you see here listed intensifies the experience and allows for the receiving of new insight, understanding of life, as well as the choices that we must make. So hopefully you maybe had a little microdose with my Caitlin and our previous speaker. But play around with it by setting aside some time, maybe an hour or so when you won't be interrupted. And also quite simply just to allow for the unfolding of that experience. Start with your chosen dose, maybe a microdose, as Caitlin said, and journal about the experience afterwards. The next time, maybe increase the dose and journal about that experience, and just continue to dose up or down until you find your sweet spot for the experience that you're seeking to have. During yoga poses, there's a greater awareness of the integration of the mind, body, and spirit. I believe that some of us lean way too far in one direction or the other and focus maybe on the body and not the rest. They focus on the spirit and not the rest. But that's not the way that it was designed to be. This helps to integrate the three as we were designed to do. So you see, practicing yoga is about so much more than having a tight body. Others report being able to go deeper into the meditative state with the use of cannabis, thus intensifying their experience. Some have also described receiving meaningful answers to their questions when they journal with cannabis on board. Others have reported that their practices have allowed for a connection to something greater. Some report obtaining a calm inner state despite the chaos that's going on around them. And just a side note, the word yoga is a Sanskrit word that refers to the state of union or communion with God, one's true self or higher power. So that's pretty significant. If we're doing yoga and we're having cannabis, we're our own masters. We have our own answers. No one outside of us has the correct answers, specific answers that are designed just for you. And cannabis is also considered a mild psychedelic that eases you into the experience. A 1960s author by the name of Alan Watts, he stated that cannabis is the psychedelic that's well suited for moving into a state of cosmic consciousness, and that he eventually was able to go into the state that he wanted to go into without the use of cannabis. So it's like cannabis can train you and your body to achieve this state without needing to use the plant. That's pretty significant. And this may also save you a few dollars, of course, unless you are growing your own. So this brings me to the point where I'd like to invite you to a short 2 to 3 minute awareness practice experience. And afterwards, please take some time to journal about what you received during the experience. So if it makes you feel more comfortable, if you want to turn off your cameras, you may, if you wish, and close your eyes and make your body comfortable. Allow whatever is holding you to support you. Let go and follow your breathing. Now, let your breathing breathe on its own and just witness it. Now, ask yourself this question and be open to whatever comes to you. Allow an answer. Just be open to what comes. And here's the question. In blank, what am I hoping for? That can be an upcoming event, a relationship, a goal, work, manifesting. So, in that desire, what are you hoping for? Now, allow yourself to go deeper. What is my deeper hope? And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the space. A Russian writer, Fyodor Dostoevsky, stated, freedom is not just about walls and bars, but also about mindset. The best way to keep a prisoner captive is to ensure they never realize they're in prison. I want you to know that you never have to be in prison because you yourself have the keys. And I leave you with this question. Are you willing to affirm your self-worth and commit to your own healing? Thank you so much for your time and attention today, and I invite you to be well.